I'm wrong sometimes. And I'm okay with that. I'm willing to take my lumps. That's part of doing this show, is that you say a bunch of stuff and sometimes you're wrong. And I want to do something I've never, ever done before, and that is talk to people who comment mean stuff. Because I don't do that very often. I've gotten a lot of stuff. I've gotten death threats before. Didn't take it seriously. But I do want to address something. I made a video recently that it's the most hated video I've ever made. I love it. It's called Dwayne Haskins is still the Heisman favorite. It's got 1 like and like 40-something dislikes, a bunch of comments, tons of nasty comments, lots of angry people. And again, I'm not mad about it. I understand. You know, I say about 40 different things a week. I put out a bunch of videos. One of them is bound to make somebody angry, and one of them is bound to be wrong. And so when I say something that gets this much hate and this much anger, this much vitriol, and this many comments telling me I'm wrong, I do listen. I do listen to that. I go, if this many people are telling me I'm wrong, is it possible I'm wrong? Because it's very likely. I say a lot of stuff. It's likely I get things wrong. But I do want to clarify a few things. Before we get into that, I want to clarify something. Tua Tagovailoa is an interesting football player. He reminds me a lot of Cam Newton or Russell Westbrook with Oklahoma City Thunder. He's kind of untouchable. You can't say anything critical of him. You can't use your brain and use critical thinking. Unless I say that Tua is the next best quarterback ever in college football, he's going to win the Heisman. Unless I say he's the best quarterback ever, I get hate and anger. Because all people want to hear is Tua is the best. And if you don't say he's the best, if you say second best or maybe not the greatest, that makes people angry. But I do want to revisit in something and clarify. People are acting like I don't like Tua, and people are acting like I think Dwayne Haskins is a better quarterback than Tua. I've never said either of those things. That's simply not true. First of all, I'm a big fan of Tua. But I have said consistently, I encourage you to go back and look at my old videos. Tua is a future number 1 pick. He's a great quarterback. He's far better than Dwayne Haskins as an NFL prospect. I don't know. I can admit, maybe what I said was stupid. Maybe what I said was wrong. I say a lot of stupid stuff. But people are saying I don't like Tua. Not true. People are saying I thought Dwayne Haskins is better than Tua. Not true. I want to dive into what I did say and what's really true, what's happening right now. Tua Tagovailoa has 25 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. And he does not play in the second half. A lot of that's because he blows teams out. And I think that's because he's really talented. He dominates other teams, has a great roster around him. You can't forget that. But he's incredibly talented. I mean, he wrecks everybody he plays. And I would encourage people to really, really look closely. Again, I've said Tua is a future number 1 pick. And I agree he's better than Dwayne Haskins. He throws the ball better, throws the ball into tighter windows. He's kind of like Houdini. Tua is very incredibly mobile. Again, people are acting like I hate Tua Tagovailoa. I don't. But I encourage you to look at the way the Heisman is selected. It's something people vote on. A bunch of different people all come together, have their interesting, like their own independent opinion, and they vote on the Heisman Trophy winner. And what I do is I looked back at how the Heisman has been selected recently in the past. We saw guys like Lamar Jackson and Johnny Manziel win the Heisman. And they were not undefeated. They did not blow teams out. And they did not have a chance to win the national championship. And yet they still won the Heisman anyways. And you look at Baker Mayfield last year. Baker Mayfield won the Heisman, had a slip up. They lost to unranked Iowa State. But at the end of the year, Baker Mayfield had the better stats. And if you look at Dwayne Haskins' stats, talk about plays in the first half, second half, I don't care. The point is this, if you look at sheer numbers, has more touchdowns, has more yards. That's a fact about Dwayne Haskins. Might be by a little bit, but he does have more yards and more touchdowns. You might not like that. You can explain away why. You can say, well, yeah, of course. Tua Tagovailoa plays in the first half of games. He never plays in the fourth quarter because they're winning by like 50 points every game. And you would be right. But my question was do you think it's possible that people voting for the Heisman Trophy could not value that the same way? Is it possible that they look at that as a weakness instead of a strength? I don't know. I don't have the answer. But it is possible people say, yeah, Tua's team is incredibly good around him, had a bunch of help, and they undervalue him. I'm not saying that's fair, but life isn't fair. So I don't know how Heisman voters are going to value the fact that he doesn't play in the second half, that he blows everybody out. Maybe they will knock him because he has a great team. I don't know. Yeah, Tua Tagovailoa deserves the Heisman Trophy. I'm not saying that. He's incredibly talented. Far better than Dwayne Haskins. But the wild card here is, how do people judge him? How do people judge how good his team is? How do people judge the fact that Dwayne Haskins does have better stats than him, more yards, more touchdowns? I might be saying a bunch of dumb stuff. I don't know. You're watching. You might be super angry. Hey, that's fine. I'm with that. I understand that. And I'm okay admitting if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But at the end of the day, I think it's interesting. Is it possible that Tua gets robbed and Dwayne Haskins wins? I don't know. But I don't mind anyone disagreeing with me. Here's what I do want to say. There were two comments that really bothered me in the last video I made. One of them was saying that, Tua Tagovailoa's Heisman moment was last year in the national championship game when he beat Clemson. Georgia. When he beat Georgia in the national championship. A lot of people said that. They said, well, Tua's moment was in that game. You understand that was last year. That was not this year. That was last year. His Heisman moment from this year can't be last year. And that does matter. That's a rhetoric people often say. What was his Heisman moment? I don't know how you have a Heisman moment. Maybe his Heisman moment is he's going to beat LSU 55-0. I don't know. Another thing is this. Some guy said that I thought Dwayne Haskins was better than Tua. Never have ever said that. I've repeatedly said in this video, do not believe that. That is not my opinion at all. So let me be very clear. Again, Tua is a better quarterback than Dwayne Haskins. But feel free to keep me in check. I say a lot of dumb stuff. If you don't like what I say, understandably. I say a lot of stuff. Sometimes I'm wrong. I'm willing to even admit when I'm wrong. And I got a lot of pushback. It's very possible. I sounded like an idiot. A lot of people felt that way. They let me know. And that's fine. But please do not put words in my mouth that I don't say. I've always said that Tua is better than Dwayne Haskins. He might have fewer touchdowns. He might have fewer yards. But Tua Tagovailoa is a better quarterback than Dwayne Haskins. Is that what you wanted me to say? I don't know that Tua is objectively going to win the Heisman because I don't know how other people are going to vote. I don't know. I would think maybe they value the fact that Dwayne Haskins has played in more close games. I could be asinine. I could be totally wrong. We'll find out. Yeah, does Tua deserve the Heisman? Yeah, he does. He's the best quarterback in college football. Doesn't mean he's going to win, though, because Johnny Manziel wasn't the best quarterback in college football, and Lamar Jackson was not the best quarterback in college football. Both of them won the Heisman Trophy. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. Does Tua deserve it? Yes, he does. Does that mean he's going to win? No, it does not. My name is Zach Schaumler. I just want to say thank you so much for watching. It means a ton to me. This is my podcast, Strong Opinion Sports. It's my pride and joy, my favorite thing in the entire world. If you're not aware, you can subscribe to Strong Opinion Sports on iTunes, on SoundCloud, and on YouTube. You can find the full entire hour-long podcast on YouTube, as well as shorter, interesting breakouts like the one you just watched. And if you really want to help me grow, it would mean a lot to me if you shared this with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is. Help me grow Strong Opinion Sports by telling your friends about this show. My name is Zach Schaumler. Thank you so much, and have a great day.